So this video explains how we count when using eighth notes. All of these exercises are in 4/4 time, which means that we have 4 quarter notes which get the beat. A quarter note looks like this note, but at the bottom of your page, I've also drawn how each one of these quarter notes, eighth rests, and quarter rests correspond to the time value and how it equals a quarter note. So the time that we have for one quarter note is also the same amount of time that we would apply to 2 eighth notes, 2 eighth rests, 1 quarter rest, or a combination of an eighth note and an eighth rest. All of these are equal to 1 beat. When you use eighth notes to count, we have notes that fall in between the beat numbers. In order to count accurately, we must do something called subdivision, or to subdivide. Subdividing is a way of counting that includes the word and, which we use the symbol plus sign to show and. I'm going to count exercise A, and I would like for you to count with me. You do not need to unmute yourself, but let's count exercise A together. So we're going to count all of these on exercise A, and you'll see that all of these are eighth notes. The first measure of exercise A are eighth notes, which are paired together with their flags. This is the flag that goes next to an eighth note. This flag helps us determine the difference between an eighth note and a quarter note. Quarter notes do not have flags. Eighth notes look like quarter notes with a flag. 2 eighth notes can be paired together by connecting their flags. This measure 2 is also the exact same rhythm as measure 1. However, I've written it without connecting the flags just to show you the difference. And measure 3 are eighth notes with flags connected in groups of 4. So let's count exercise A together. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and count. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. As you heard, each of these were counted the same way. However, they do all look a little bit different. But keep in mind that eighth notes can be demonstrated with flags that are not connected or flags that are connected in various ways. In section B, I'm showing you eighth rests. An eighth rest, just like a quarter rest, represents a time of silence. We would say shh for the rests. But in your mind, I put parentheses here to help you keep in mind that we are still subdividing and still counting with subdivision. An important thing to understand at this time is that when counting rhythm, we say out loud notes and their corresponding numbers. We do not say the rhythms, or we demonstrate the rhythms by using this sh sound to show that those are rests. Sorry, we do not count the rests out loud. What we do is we can say shh, or we just omit saying their rhythm numbers, which is why here in measure 2 of exercise B, I did not put the numbers above it. But you must understand that this still takes its place in the timeline. So for exercise B, you could say sh, 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 sh. Or you could just think 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and not play any notes. Measure 2 of exercise B, we would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 3 and. Or you could include rests by saying shh, like this. 1 and shh, shh, 3 and shh, shh. Let's try measure 2 of exercise B. Ready? 1, 2, and 3, and count. 1 and shh, shh, 3 and shh, shh. Let's do it again. Ready? 2, 3, and count. 1 and shh, shh, 3 and shh, shh. This time let's clap. We will clap when we see notes, and we will not clap when we see rests. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and clap. And 1 and shh, shh, 3 and shh, shh. Now in measure 3 of exercise B, I've shown you how a rest can sometimes take the place of a beat to which there would be a number. Sometimes this can be confusing, as we're used to in our easy and intermediate music, having notes that fall on the beat. In this case, beat 1 would be observed here, but we would not say or play anything during this time. But we still need to understand that a part of the timeline is reserved for beat 1, even though there is no sound being created. So counting exercise B, measure 3 would sound like this. Sh, and 2 and sh, and 4 and. Or clapping and counting exercise B, measure 3, sh, and 2 and sh, and 4 and. Let's try and play exercise B, measure 3, with clapping and counting. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and go. Sh, and 2 and sh, and 4 and. Let's do it again. 1 and 2 and 3 and go. Sh, and 2 and sh, and 4 and. Now let's move on to exercise C. Here we see another note. This note is called a dotted quarter note. The dot adds a certain amount of time to your note. In fact, when you see a dot beside a note, it adds exactly half of that note's value. If there were no dot here, then this would be a quarter note. Remember that the quarter note is also equal to 2/8 notes. So half of 2/8 notes, if I cut this in half of 2/8 notes would equal 1/8 note. Thereby, a dotted quarter note is equal to 3/8 notes, or 3/8 rests, or 1/4 rest and 1/8 note, or 1/4 rest and 1/8 rest. An easy way to remember this is that in 4/4 time, the dotted quarter note is equal to 3/8 notes. Here, I put in parentheses the beats that are going on while you're holding the dotted quarter note. You would not say these beats, but I do want you to be aware that during this time of the dotted quarter note, beat 1, the and of 1, and beat 2 are all reserved in the timeline. Since it's only 3 eighth notes of value, that leaves us then with the next note falling on the and of beat 2. In this case, I've put a rest. Let me demonstrate how to count C as your 1. 1, 3, and 4, and. Listen to me again. 1, 3, and 4, and. One more time. I'll play it right. 1, 3, and 4, and. 1, 3, and 4, and. Exercise 2, letter C. Listen to the rhythm. And 2, 3, and 4. Once again. And 2, 3, and 4. With clapping. 1 and 2, and measure 2, and 2, 3, and 4. Once again. Ready? Go. And 2, 3, and 4. Another rhythm, a bit more difficult. Measure 3 of exercise C. And 3, and 4, and. Here we have a rest on beat 1. This and starts on the and of beat 1, but keep in mind that a dotted quarter note is equal to the value of 3 eighth notes, so it takes up the time for the and of beat 1. That counts as 1 eighth note, as well as beat 2 and beat 3. So we would hold this out through the and of 1, beat 2, and the and of beat 3. And 3, and 4, and. Moving on to exercise D, a little more palatable and easier way of looking at these notes. We just are using eighth notes and quarter rests. Let's see if we can count exercise D, all 4 measures together. 1 and 2, and ready, and count. 1 and 2, 4 and 1 and 3, 4, 1 and 4 and 1 and 3. In fact, Devarius and Samuel, you will find that this is the same rhythm that you see in the song Gauntlet, and we have the melody in the song Gauntlet. So this is a very important rhythm. Hey, this is a very important rhythm for you to know, as we will be using this rhythm in one of our songs. And this is one of the purposes of this assignment, so you can understand the rhythm to some of your songs. In exercise E, this rhythm demonstrates the first 3 measures of the melody played by the cello in the song A Million Dreams. So exercise E is very important for cello players to know, as this applies to the song A Million Dreams. Exercise E sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2, 3, 4, 1, and 3, 4, 1, 4 and shh, 2 and 3. Shh. I did leave off the counting in this last measure as a way for you to assess if you can understand where our beats fall using subdivision. If you would like to copy down measure 4 on your own and write in the counting correctly, you would not have a number above the first quarter rest. You would put 2 and 3. This would be the and of 3, but you would not write it or say it. And this is beat 4.